Now let's have the take of another section, which is the challenges faced by a professional. How a professional is going to present himself about the challenges which they are facing at this point of time. So we have Dr. Murali Krishnan with us for this talk. I would like to introduce Dr. Murali Krishnan. Dr. Murali Krishnan is the Principal and Faculty of Occupational Therapy at Meher College. He is also the director of Spandan Center, which has been running since more than 12 years. And he is a vastly experienced professional to raise the current challenges which professionals are facing at this moment. And I'm sure he's not good at his health. I can see it, make it out from his face. Dr. Murali is isolated and infected with COVID. So he had me a request last night that in case if I run out of breath, I said, I'm sure that your passion is not going to allow you to run out of breath for this topic. So I won't take much of your time, Dr. Murali. I would like to hand it over to you. And I would like you to begin with our talk where you are presenting the professional challenges which are into concern as of now. Harshali, madam, can you turn the spotlight video on for Dr. Murali?
Yeah, if he talks, that will be,
Great,
we'll go.
great.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Great, madam. Welcome, Dr. Murali. Welcome all the participants and parents. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all the organizers. This has been wonderful. I've known Sawmill almost 7-8 years now, and grown up fond of him, the way he works and the amount of interest he shows in the profession. And thank you so much, Harshali, for inviting me over this. As I said, I might go a little out of breath, but I would definitely deliver the point which I want to convey. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share a small PowerPoint. Based on that, we will take it forward. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. Murali, you're audible also and visible also. Good to go, sir. All the best.
Okay. See,
Murali, can you put it on the slideshow mode?
I'm just trying to figure out this this block. This one is blocking me.
Okay. This is also okay. This should do. No problem.
Yeah, if I can move this bar somewhere, yeah, yeah. And now I think I should.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Challenges. When we talk about challenges, there is nothing comes short of a challenge for a therapist, or for that matter, when we deal with any professional who deal with children with special needs or adults with difficulties. This unprecedented situation has brought us lots of challenges, lots of ways how to. We didn't even know the challenges were existing this kind of way. Or in another way, we can say that we have taken things in a little lighter mode till now, and we have been moving forward with what we were comfortable of, what we were doing easily all this while. So suddenly the situation has changed everything upside down. And there was no time, we never faced any challenges. It has always been challenges. Only thing is, we did not realize challenges come in many faces, challenges come in many colors, challenges come in many sizes, and mostly it will come knocking down on your ego. Why I directly say that is, most of the times we always thought we are well equipped, we are well versed with our knowledge, we are well equipped with our infrastructures, therapy equipments, therapeutic knowledge what we had in our books, therapeutic training what we had, guidance from the seniors and our fellow people. We always thought that we are equipping ourselves, we are going ahead, at least to some extent, people who always want to learn and go. But this one situation has put everybody back to zero, pulled yourself down and told, no beta, you are not ready for this yet. And this has totally changed us. This has totally changed us as individuals, as therapists, as professionals, as human beings. And this is not something what we were actually preparing for. I was kind of thinking myself, I was one of the very easy ones who adapted myself well in the first pandemic, first wave itself, and changed myself into different formats of providing services, surviving, all that. So how did this changes? What basic challenges as a therapist we faced? Finance, yes. For a therapist, finance was a major concern. Some of them, excuse me about it. Some of us are small scale therapists, some of us are big scale therapists. End of the day, what you still have to do is you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your salaries for your staff, you have to run your family errands, you have to pay the fees for your children's school and your errands and everything. All these things were depending on finance. Suddenly your financial situations were in a query because the in-person classes are not going to happen, people are not going to take classes, so your income was definitely affected. How do we survive? Suddenly there is uncertainty of what am I going to do, how am I going to survive. It's not about how I'm going to give services in the beginning. See, we are all primal animals. First thing is to survive first, then we will go for it. I know this sounds a little weird. Some of us may not agree with it. Even sometimes I also didn't agree with it. But end of the day, if you think about it, your primary instinct is to survive first, then go help others. Because if you cannot survive, you cannot help anybody. You can help only when you are in a stable surface, when you are in a stable situation. So surviving is very important. I'll come back to the point where surviving, because the word surviving means very important component here. Not that I want to live, I want to earn, and then I want to live. Here, surviving is in this demanding situation, what are the skills I need to survive as a therapist? All the skills I had were not enough for me to survive in the situation, so I had to learn something new. I hope now we understand the concept of why I said surviving is important. So suddenly there were lots of therapists who closed down their centers. They have closed down their business. They went out of job because they couldn't pay the rent, they couldn't pay the salary and everything. What everybody's mind is upset. Everybody is like, worried. What's exactly happening? What am I going to do? What am I going to survive? How am I going to survive? Is this going to be this, or like in future, how will I do it? Because it's not easy having a center, closing it down. I have some 10 to 15 of my friends here in Chennai had to close down because they were not able to pay the rent, including myself. My landlord gave me a 4 months of waiver in the first wave. 4 months of rent waiver is not something small for me, because my rent is each month is 50,000 rupees. 4 months. That is close to 2 lakh rupees. He gave me waiver, which I didn't have to pay him a single paisa, which was literally a boon for me. There was one person who could help me in that. He forego of his income of 2 lakh rupees, but he made sure that I could survive and come back to him and then do the business there in the same place. So these are all the things we are going through as a therapist, the challenges they were facing. But these are all superficially the challenges what we have been seeing. But what exactly are we missing? What exactly the real challenges we have faced? Let's see what's actually the picture, what's actually the issue here, and the challenges what we face. Either it is for the children, for the therapist, and for the community. So this challenges, this situation, upgrading ourselves, building ourselves, improving our own skills for the benefit of children, for the benefit of the therapist, and overall as a community, how we are going to help. This is where the challenges came down into zeroing. So general challenges what we face during this period is the initial contact. So we always cherish as a therapist for us, the initial contact, the first time when we meet somebody, the first time when we meet the parent, the caregiver, the client, the child, that is when we get most of the information. That's the overflow of information. Suddenly, everything is happening through a different modem. I will come back to this again. We are not able to get the first initial contact. We are not able to look at the person's eyes. We are not able to look at the body language. We are not able to interact with them in person. Change our body language and see how the child is reacting to it. So these are all the small nuances. See, we are all professionals. Most of us rely on standardized assessment tools and standardized assessment evaluations. And someone like me are very much involved with how the child reacts to me, how the child responds to me, looks at me, does all the nakra. All these things gives me information about the child. So this helps me plan out or understand the child better, and then take the planning and goal setting for the future. So these important aspect of initial contact with the caregiver, with the client, with the parent, with the children is the main challenge which we face. So this is one thing which we are lost. Then comes to assessment. What's in the assessment? Formal assessment, informal assessment. What is the right thing to do? So obviously, formal assessment way of doing it is still can be done, considering there are questionnaires done and stuff. And there are some more assessments which we will not be able to do it because these are all informal assessments. You have to observe, you have to see how the child is walking inside the room, how the child is, which toy he is selecting, where his eyes are, how many times he is moving around, how many times he is getting up. These informations can be easily found out when you are in the session looking at the child. Suddenly, the in-person assessment has gone into online mode where you are only seeing the video, and which exactly not giving you the right amount of input which it should be giving. And imagine this is also not your fault, because how many of us knew that we need to do a tele-rehab assessment? How many of you knew how to do a tele-assessment? We adapted ourselves. Not many of us, not many therapists. See, most of the time we are all conservationist people. We don't go out of our comfort zone, which has been the very negative impact for the profession. I know we are a professionals where we adapt ourselves, we change ourselves, mold ourselves to the new formats with the children. But in somewhere in our mind, we are all conservationists. Oh no, I am a therapist. I will sit in the room when the child comes in. I will play with the child and find out what is to be done. I cannot do that over the internet or the WhatsApp or Zoom or telecall or anything. This idea of from our comfort zone, from our so-called therapy boxes, from the so-called four walls, we need to change ourselves, go out and find a way how better we can survive. I'm not saying tele-rehab will be the best thing to do. To my opinion, tele-rehabilitation, tele-assessment, everything will become a adjunct to the main therapy what we can give. But at the same time, this is what we are going to be living with. This is what the future is on us. A hybrid therapy is going to be the future for us. That's what the WHO has told, the UNESCO has told. So let's take it forward, because this is how things are going to be. We have to evolve and we have to change. I did change, of course. I've taken tele-rehabilitation to a different level in the first wave itself, where my center was literally closed for 3 months, and then we were only busy doing online sessions. But again, everything stops at one point of time where people realize only so much you can do it there. After that, what is the point? After that, either you have to learn how to improve your service delivery, making sure your service is correct, your service is what is needed for the child, for the adult with the difficulties. And are you equipped to do it? Are you sure you are equipped to do it? These are all very important. So this is the biggest challenge as a therapist we have faced. Technology. How to use the technology. How to use technology, because some of us, the maximum, someone like me and all uses WhatsApp for sending videos, home plans, and some of the doubts they ask. Oh, this is how my child walks. This is how the activity he does. Can you do corrections and stuff? And we do send them back a small video. But we did not realize how important it is till I figured out with one of my child how technologically disadvantageous or technologically ignorant as therapists we were, the challenges we faced as therapists. Because I would request all the members be there in the screen. Imagine, lift your right hand up. Now put your right hand down and lift your left hand up. Okay. Now, lift the hand what I am raising up. Put it down. Change the hand. Now, this is where the technology comes into the picture. Now, I told you to lift your right leg up, right hand up. And I'm pretty sure you would have all raised your right hand up. But what is the assurance that I see that you're raising your right hand? what is the assurance that I see you're lifting your left hand? This is a confusion. This I figured it out once. I was talking to a child. I was doing a session with the child, and then like we had a very difficult time. Imagine this is only hands raising and up, right? But I was doing complicated bilateral coordination activities with that particular child, who is a classic autistic child, who is one of my very favorite kid. He would sincerely do it, and then after some time, I realized that okay, whenever I want him to do the right hand, he's doing left hand. Whenever he's doing the left hand, I feel he's doing his right hand. And then couple of sessions later, I had to make the mother sit in front of the camera and then asked her like, okay, now is he doing what I'm expecting him to do, or is he giving me the response what I want him to do? She said yes. And then that's when we realized, okay, there is this confusion of left and right happening. Not because he is confused, not because I am confused. We both were clear in what we want to do, but the technology is reversing the aspects. When there is the right hand lifted, it shows as left hand lifted. So all these small adjustments of understanding the technical aspects within that software is very important. Where it can be Zoom, it can be, or it can be Zoom, or it can be a Google Meet. So these small changes needs to be learned as a therapist. Learning the nuances of conducting online classes is very important. Now, all the therapists and professionals go back to basics, learn how to use a software, how to use a system. That is important for you. That is where skill building, your OT skill is not going to help. Your physiotherapy skill is not going to help now. Your skill of understanding, merging the technology, the software with the physiotherapy skills or occupational therapy skills or the speech therapy skills is very important here. So this is again very important aspect of it. So this is the challenges faced by therapists on the technical aspects, how to learn and how to adapt yourself so that your service your service delivery to the child is up to the level. Please put me in track if I'm going a little extra over time. I hope I'm on time. Now,
yes, sir, you're on time. You have 20 minutes more.
Yeah. See, these are all things which comes as external challenges, external issues you have to come up with. Suddenly, the in-person contact between you and the client is taken off. The trust factor of, imagine trust factor when it comes to dealing children with sensory integration. Very important. When a child literally just wants to walk because of the sensory processing difficulty, if he is not able to walk, the amount of input he needs from your hand to take one step to overcome the gravitational insecurity is very important. The grip pressure you apply on the wrist for the child who is anxious, who is a little hyper, amount of pressure he receives in the wrist, how much that calms him down. These are all the small things which are missing, where the child is not able to receive that particular stimulation from the therapist, input cue from the therapist, so that the activity can be well organized. When there is a child sitting next to you and working, a small tap on the shoulder, giving him a cue. Yeah, I am watching you, buddy. I am able to monitor you. You need any support, I am here for you. Those kind of small nuances, the small intrinsic aspects of therapy have changed. So we have gone into online modes now, but this again brings in the challenges of feedback coming to the therapist or the professionals here. Because at home, at home, so not just at home, in the therapy center, I know not all the therapy centers I'm talking about. I'm the Bombay and the other places are very well equipped and then very ethically, morally well balanced therapy centers. But not all the therapy centers are like that. In that case, what happens? You're able to put yourself at the back, and you're able to put the child in front for the benefit of the child. So whatever the input you are giving, whatever the input you're working with the child, is always discussed with the parent. Is always the parent is part of the goal setting strategy. Parent gives you inputs. We have a parent therapist and professionals meet to discuss on where are we going right, where are we going wrong. We will always discuss with other therapists that, okay, as a therapist, I'm not able to achieve this goal. Means am I going something wrong? Like, would you give me some suggestions? These are all taking help from the people. Suddenly, with this challenges have thrown out, where we are not able to ask anybody's help because they themselves don't know. Taking help from people means they should also know, right? So learning with each other, learning with supporting with each other is very important in this matter. Having said all these things, when it comes to home plan, we have always given home plans. People go home and then they do this. Most of the times, trust me, most of the times the home plans do not happen. And I know to what extent I have to go. Literally, I will throw the parent out of the therapy session saying, okay, you don't do the home plans today. Tomorrow, you do not have sessions with me. That's it, period. And you have to send me the proof that you are doing home plans. Because somehow, not all the parents, somehow most of the parents feel that when it comes to giving the child in the therapy center, I pay you and you do all the work for my child. That's all. Why do I have to go and do it at home? And somewhere as a professional, we also sometimes take it for granted that we don't give them the clear amount of knowledge, clear amount of input to understand the importance of doing home plan, importance of doing the home plan the way it has to be done. This is where the nonsense go into polite. So people don't come back to you with the right amount of feedback. When they come back with the feedback is when you will correct yourself. See, the therapy doesn't happen only in 1 hour within the 4 walls. It has to happen 24/7. It has to happen generalized all over the community, at home, at school, at the park, at the mall, at the shopping theater, wherever you go, it has to happen. Because it's not just one place. We have moved beyond the aspects of therapy happening within 4 walls. Of course, most of the times, yes, the therapy within the 4 wall is the best option for a given condition or a given problem. But beyond that, therapy happening outside the wall, how to cross roads, how to go buy shops, and how to go out with my friends, how to party with my friends, how to travel in an auto, how to travel in a bus alone. These are all occupational therapy aspects where we work on functional skills, but the occupational therapy doesn't happen within the 4 walls. So 22 years old, people always say, no, at 7 years, 8 years, your occupational therapy doesn't work for the kids. It's not that, people have the misconception of it. Occupational therapy is not something happens within 7 years. Occupation therapy happens till you die. So for each person, the goal is different. Sometimes you don't need occupational therapy after 7 years. That is completely fine. And this is where I wanted to bring in this fantastic story. This is how this says how important it is to understand the right amount of therapy, right timing of therapy. There is this one parent who came to me with, of course, the initial contact, initial meeting with the parent was so bad that I didn't even want to see the child, because it came with a big political background, and then like, no. Initially, when they come itself, okay, this is your charges. I can only pay this much. You can take this much and give therapy. I said, like, you're not arguing with me because I'm not your petty shop fellow. You're coming here only because I am skilled, and then you need my help. If you need any help, you come, you tell me, okay, this is my problem is, this is how it can happen, and can you please help me in this? But don't come to me saying, okay, no, I'm this fellow, I'm that fellow, so I can only tell you this is the charges I can give you and all that. I had to take it because that was a reference of my dad. Unfortunately, he got fired from me, not to interfere into work after that. But all said and that was from a grandparent. But I would give my full appreciation to the mother and the father of that particular child. When they came to me, they were like, the child was 1 year, 8 months, not talking, no eye contact, no babbling, no cubing, nothing. Typically a symptom of ASD, autistic child. And then, and they were coming 50 kilometers close to my native place. When they came, I told them, sir, it is very difficult. I want the child every day coming to me. And I want you to do certain things, basically with the child at home. Or the whole family members needs to be brought in so that I can counsel the family members. And this is to be done. The child is in a very, very right age you have brought him, because he's 1 year, 7, 8 months now. And I'll be able to help the child. And I'm not sure, because at the same time, I don't know how long it will take and all. And we started providing casual occupational therapy sessions with the child. And then suddenly there is this such a big boom of response from the child. In 2.5, 3 months time, I was so convinced that the child was not even autistic. It was, to me, I just simply looked into my face and then said, this is only a lack of environmental stimulation. I don't know. Or there must have been underlying ASD features there. But that was very less. It was not stimulated good enough. The child was not given environmental stimulation good enough. So the child didn't receive environmental stimulations. So he was not talking properly. He was not interacting with them. If a child with a classic ASD symptom who comes from a psychiatrist says so, a psychologist says so, an occupational therapist believes so in the beginning of it. In 3 months' time, he can turn everything upside down and then change your whole mood and then tell you, boy, you have been thinking all wrong. And that gives a slap on the face and says, Murali, you don't know anything. Because the environment works differently. The conducive stimulations work differently. They give you the benefit, not the therapist, not the specialist. It's just that the child learned so much from just taking small information from the environment, and then became so good. And then in 3 months' time, we were actually about to discharge him, and the parent didn't want to. But I know, ethically speaking, that is not to be done. In 3 months' time, you should not discharge a child, because there is always a repercussion. there is always a problem of issues cropping up again if we don't address it properly. We have to taper it down very slowly. So I took another 3 months time with that particular child. So in 6 months time, I sent him happily, and then he's happily living his life. No complaints as of now. So this is one aspect where the challenges comes into differently, but the parents' resilience of bringing 50 kilometers from one place to another, where the therapy services are not available in their town, travel for 50 kilometers and then come back by arrange a vehicle and come. All these things comes into the picture. And trust and ask for help is very important. See, when it comes to we are slowly moving into 1 minute, please. Okay. So when you're going for a therapist, please always trust, because the therapist always has the best intentions in his mind, and he has a good skill for it. If you don't trust the therapist, there is nothing wrong in moving away from him. Go for another therapist. And this is for the therapist as well to understand. If a therapist says, "I'm very sorry, madam, I'm not able to work with your child," that doesn't mean I don't want to work with your child. Because I still remember one more incident where in Bombay it happened the same way for me. I want to put all my effort and then work for the child. But somehow it is about the connection between the therapist and the child. This everybody in this world will agree. It is all about connection. It's all about trust between the client and the therapist or the professionals. So if that link is missing, that means whatever you do, you will not be able to help that particular child. It's not the therapist's fault. It is not the child's fault. So understand that, and then take the help of the other therapist, your colleague. It's not that like you're a lesser therapist and the other person is a bigger therapist. It is just that for that particular problem, for that particular child, you're not the right one. You have to accept it. Put away your ego and work on it. Okay. So there is something called ethical practice and moral practice to make sure we provide right amount of service to everybody, the right service to everybody. We have to equip ourselves in delivering the right quality therapy to the people who are in need. So as a therapist, the challenges now we face is understanding the technology, understanding the softwares, understanding how telerehabilitation works. And within the telerehabilitation, there is always ethical practice involved. See, ethical practice is always there, irrespective of telerehab or not. So, proper consent from the parent, proper consent from the child, because the sessions are happening telerehab, everything is recorded. Make sure you do not put everything in the public. The child's face is camouflaged. Ethically, you shouldn't use this without the permission for any, not even for educational purposes. So always abide by moral and ethical values. The practice guides us into. And at the same time, some of the important aspects I would directly touch upon now here is finance, respect, and finance. Finance is something which comes again and again and again, because I'll tell you something. Because I give you teletherapy, because I talk to you over the internet and then WhatsApp, my time is not free. What you are paying as a therapist. So this might come a little rude for some of the people, but this is fact. when you take somebody's help, when you take somebody's consultation, please give due respect for the person that he is taking the phone, he is taking the internet call and addressing your problem. And he's talking to you, he's going to give you suggestions based on the amount of experience he had, the amount of knowledge he had, amount of studies he accumulated over these years. So these are all culminates and then comes to a solution for you. It's not just that, oh yeah, he's only talking over phone, so why should I pay him the same amount what I used to? It's not like that. It's not for the time, or it's not for the 1 or 2 lines you are paying him. You are paying him for his knowledge. You are paying him for his patience. At the same time, taken this as granted, imagine it's a work. End of the day, it's as much as it is service, it is work as well. So when you are taking service to somebody, you have to pay them for the service as well. Because at the end of the day, he is also in need of support, not just you. As much as you need of the service, he needs of the financial aspects involved in it. This coming to the bullseye aspect of it, finance aspect of it. I don't know how many therapists have faced this, and I'm pretty sure all the therapists have faced it. We do give concessions. We do give sometimes free therapy, sometimes 50% concessions, 70% concessions and stuff. This is where the whole concept goes into haywire, which I also get a little upset over certain things. Because trust me, there are lots of people complain that, okay, therapists are charging a bomb, therapists are not giving enough time, they are giving only 30 minutes, they are only giving 40 minutes. I will compensate the 10 minutes in the next class and everything. I don't know. I don't know how it works. For some moral aspects, yes, we do agree. Okay, 45 minute session, 10 minutes, I'll compensate it next time for you. Even if the child didn't cooperate, even if I was there waiting that whole 45 minutes, you come up 30 minutes late and then 15 minutes I work for you. Then also I have to compensate that 30 minutes for you. All these things are not ethically right, you know. If you are looking only on the timing aspect, that means you're not respecting your therapist. At the same time, for the therapist also, you have to respect the client. If there is a time limit given, put the time limit in the mark. Only then they will also realize, okay, if they mean this is the timing, we cannot change the timing and everything. We have to stick by the timing. There are lots of people who have not paid fees for the therapist in many aspects. Literally, a huge chunk amount of money is not paid for the therapist. Almost as I know, I have lots of friends who have been in the same thing, but which usually doesn't come up, because what comes up out is, oh, this therapist didn't give time. This therapist charges a bomb. This therapist didn't even consider giving concession. But how many of us know that parents didn't pay the therapist well? The parents escaped after taking 1 month session, after taking 2 months session, after taking 3 months session. Considering we keep giving them sessions because the child is the priority, the client is the priority, and then we hope that they give back. So all these areas are also. I'm sorry.
Can we just
Okay.
mute
Sorry,
him?
by mistake.
Can mute him? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm also almost there in the end. So always trust the people. When you are going to a therapist, asking for service or asking for a help, trust the therapist. When you are giving him full information, this is what I want. My complaint is this. Not complaint. My concern is this. So can you please help me with the solution? We are not a magic people here. We also dwell, or we also understand what are all the nuances, what are all the difficulties the child is facing, and the parent is facing, the school is facing. then try to come up with a solution for it. By looking at it, it won't happen. I'll tell you one thing, the major concern which as a therapist I face even now is the client when they come, some of the clients do not trust the therapist. And I don't blame them fully for it, because there is something called the therapist hopping or the center hopping. One parent came to me and then she sat right across me and then told, please tell me what's the problem with my son. I said, like, you came, ma'am, please tell me what's your concern with your child. Like, that's why you're here for. No, you look at my son and then tell me what is the problem. I said, see, I can look at the child and then tell you the problem and all is not the right thing to do. No, I have been to 16 therapists as of now. So many people have told so many things. Now I want to see who's the right one. I know I right away wanted to tell her, please get out of my office, because I'm not here to prove that after the 16th people I'm the best. That's not my job. But if you are really concerned that Murali, I need your help, can you please help me in helping my son? I would definitely put my effort. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm saying I will definitely give my best to help the child out. So of course, me being me, not so rude, I went out, played with the child, and then find out, okay, what are all the difficulties he might be facing. I came to the parent and then told, see, I have seen the child, but would you like to still tell me what your concern is? She's like, no. She was adamant that, no, I can't tell you. You have to tell me. Then I said I didn't want to prolong it. So I just told her, this is the child. I've seen the child outside. This is what he does. This is what he does. So I think by overall, this could be the picture of it. And I hope I'm able to satisfy you in my answer. She's like, yeah, this is what the other therapist said. This is what this therapist said. I said, like, ma'am, are you here to discuss with me about what the therapists from other centers have told, or like what do you want to hear from me? No. I'm just making sure I'm not going to a wrong person. I completely understand that, but you're overdoing it. If you go to somebody, trust that person, take other parents' word for it, or ask someone who knows already, who has been to another therapist. Go for it and then take the therapy. In hopping to 16 therapists and then expecting everybody to deliver up to your level is not going to be helpful, and that is probably going to harm the child's future than helping the child. So always have best intention. I know the parent had the best intentions in her mind, but was not well informed, or what was not well guided, is what I would say. So I took opportunity to help her out, but of course the parent didn't come back to me again, I know. But the challenges doesn't stop here. The challenges doesn't end here. Challenges will never end. Challenges will keep cropping up every now and then. But that is where the professionals are here for. That is what our children have taught us. That is what our children have molded us to adapt, to pick up ourselves, to raise up. Even you are put down on the ground, deep down, come up and then go forward in the community, go forward in our life. This is what our children have taught us, and no challenges will keep us down. This is what my final sentence is, and thank you so much. I hopefully address the issues here.
Thank you, Dr. Murali, for your time and impactful insights about the topic. I would just like to briefly summarize what all concerns we touched during our session right now. So the topic was current challenges for professionals. We begin with few superficial challenges. We went on to actual challenges which you are facing right now in the COVID times. In the superficial challenges, definitely the finance and survival becomes the most important thing, because survival is the basic human instinct. So yes, definitely that is an important thing to be pondering upon. The professional charges to be decided by the therapists, and whatever they are to be paid by the parents. is what should be the ethical and the moral practice. Going on to the actual concerns or actual challenges which we are facing in our day-to-day routine. You started off with the initial contact when the child comes in front of the therapist, how the child is going to behave or how the child is going to display or portray himself, getting a rapport built with the child over there. Also during the assessment, there are set of therapists who follow formal assessments. There are a set of therapists who follow informal assessments. But the most important thing over here is the connect between the therapist and the child, which is going to facilitate the development of the child. And we went on to the current recent teletherapy challenges, that knowing a new software, working out on the virtual grounds and virtual basis was not a in thing before the pandemic situation. We were not so used to using those kind of softwares as professionals because we were more involved into conventional therapies, on hands-on therapies, where the child is right in front of us in our therapy center. Definitely that point is going to be touched today, later in the day, by Dr. Sumit, where he's going to compare the teletherapy and the conventional therapies. And we also mentioned about positive utilization of our time in these pandemic situations, wherein the professional is also upgrading the cash, the knowledge, cash, KASH, the knowledge, the attitude, the skills, and the habits. That is what every professional should start doing in. Was a very valuable point mentioned by you. Yes, the major problem which we as professionals face is the home program not being followed on a regular basis, which kind of affects our smart goal-oriented protocol, which we have developed, the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals which we have set. Somewhere we fall short of achieving those because the lack in regularity during following the home program is observed commonly with the parents. As a therapist, I would just like to give a small note over here to Dr. Murali's point that when a therapist is working out in the therapy center, the therapist is developing certain skills in the child. And by saying or doing the home program, you are ensuring that you are generalizing those skills into functions. And that is what I'm sure Dr. Murali will also agree to this point. We're not wanting the exercises to be done those vigorously in the house. How you can kind of introduce those exercises in the daily functions is what we have to look at. Because the parent is not a technical person working out over here, and the parent is a complete emotional one working out with the child. Also, we went on. Yes, Dr. Murali.
This is something very important. I kind of missed out on that. See, the home plan is something that is a continuation of the therapy happened, because mostly what parents think is, if I do this, that itself is enough so that I don't have to do anything else. It's not like that. See, we are all working as a team. We are all working as partners. Always remember, therapist is not a super boss. Parent is not a super boss. Child is the priority. Therapist is not the priority. My knowledge, what I know, what I am capable of is not my not the big thing. What the parent knows, what the parent's knowledge is not the big thing. Is it appropriate for the child's benefit is always important. Remember only one thing in your mind. Child is the priority. You keep that in mind. You can work out with any particular child, any particular therapist, any particular parent.
Yes, so going ahead with the child-centered approach is what every professional and every parent should be working ahead. Also, we went on to the ethical practice, where you also mentioned of referring the child to some other professional and not feeling short of it that I'm not able to work. Might be that child is not as per your expertise, and it is better that some other skilled professional would definitely look into the child's development. We also mentioned a lot about the pillars, the trust and the faith the parents should be keeping on every professional they're working with, any and every professional they're working with. Because if you are going to follow something, it is very important for you to give your 100% over there. Otherwise, we are not going to get the expected results and outcomes. So there comes the difference of the expectations of parents versus the perception. You also recited a very nice story wherein a parent came in and just asked. There are many parents coming in and just asking professionals and kind of getting on a viva mode. But yes, definitely, that is my job. I'm going to do that. We are, as professionals, going to cater to your concerns, and we are also going to work over the development of the child. So it is about the awareness of a parent that I have done a lot about the assessments. Let's start working over my child. Let me take that stance of going ahead and working towards the development of my child. So yes, also sometimes the discussion amongst the parents goes haywire, that something worked out with one professional, with one child, might necessarily not work out with another child. So we have to be very pinpointed over here in taking the professional advice for our child's concerns. So yes, that was a wonderful talk from Dr. Murali. Thank you so much for your time. We have a question in the panel which says there are a few therapists who are money-minded. Any kind of a message for those therapists? What would be your take over this, Dr. Murali?
Hi. First thing is, I'm a little skeptical on this for my own sake. But there might be some of the therapists who are money-minded. I cannot vouch for everybody. But as far as I have seen the therapist, I have seen therapists fully hardworking, fully dedicated into their field. Maybe in the initial stages of their profession it would have been, but over a period of time, we are into the field where we see the people struggle. We see how improving them is important for us. So money has always taken a back step in the therapist's mind. No therapist is going to come and tell you, oh no, you cannot pay the money, don't come to therapy. I have not seen any therapist done that yet. Many people have come and asked, like, sir, if you go and approach a therapist saying, sir, I cannot afford my therapy, I'm 100% ready to take you. I will not compensate on the sessions. I might compensate on the amount I receive from you. As a personal, Murali will not charge you 0%. I will not give you free therapy and all, which I have regretted doing it at one point of time, because free therapy doesn't work well on the trust aspect, because people don't value what you are doing. So I always tell them, see, to some extent, you have to own up. You have to take the responsibility that you are receiving therapy. So I will definitely charge you. But at the same time, I will not put you to all your money in the hand and say, no, you have to pay me this much of money. And no human being, forget about the therapist, no human being is so heartless to tell you that without money, I will not give you service. I'm confident that this will not be the case. And and always remember, money is not the major issue usually when it comes to things like that. You can always have a way. There are organizations which are sponsoring for the therapy. There are institutions, individual therapists, they are giving you concessions. So money will not become a problem as far as I have seen it, and especially not in our culture of people.
I would like to add over here, Murali. Hi, Murali.
Yes, sir. Hi.
When we say money in English, there are three things I feel. Money can be classified into three things. One is the cost, second is the price, and third is the value. Yes. So when one of the parent I asked, when the parent had come to me and asked me, sir, if my child starts saying Papa to me, no, I will give everything to that person. You know, he was talking about the value of the development, what he was expecting from us. You know, when it became when the child, same parent was a friend of mine. You know, so he said, Sumit, you just do everything, and my child should say Papa to me. I want to hear some words from him. You know, and we started doing it, and the child started speaking within 2.5 months, 3 months down the period. He started doing eye contact. He started doing a number of things. So parent-child bonding developed. Every time he used to cry, come to me and cry, and he used to say, today something great happened with me at home. He came and he hugged me. This thing. So I asked him, how much do you cost in money? I mean, because he was a friend, so I was very much I cannot talk to this in a plan. So I was just understanding to this thing. So that he said, are you asking me the cost of the therapy sessions and this thing? He said, Sumit, the 600 or 800 or 500 or 400, what we just charging you for your services, but out of that, what we are getting is a value. That value has there is no value for your this thing when it comes to the child, when the child starts talking, when the child develops in a certain stage. So money is a very concrete manner. Money is a very concrete thing when we call it as a this thing. Few people afford it, few people don't afford it. For non-affording people, there is a nice setup set by government or government. In CRC also, we get a lot of parents who comes to them, domestic helpers comes to me. Domestic helpers who are like they are the rickshaw drivers or the people who are the single mothers who are just doing the domestic work for others. And when that mother brings a child, my child is a CP, my child has autism, my child is not doing this thing. I just take a one word from her. If you are doing the hard work, I will definitely give you my services. Being a punctual and being a regular, I would like to you should get it off from me as early as possible. And the mother agrees to it. And if they are regular, then definitely we have a 20% quota for those kind of people with this thing. With those people, because in Indian conditions we have to accept all the socio-economic data. But yes, there are some elements that happen that they count the sessions, they count the activities. Oh, my child has okay, he has done the 5-piece puzzle. So if I get a 5-piece puzzle, why have to pay 600? I will get the puzzle and I will do the same thing. I will get the same screen. And many people actually make a setup at their home, but that is not a development. That is a mediator of a development, which we use it as a mediation for the child's development. Like there is a lot of misconceptions are happening. There is a lot of self-directed things are happening, and that's why these queries are coming. With respect to value, cost, and price. Thanks a lot. Nice session, Murali. Definitely, we are going to have a wonderful session further also. And definitely parents are, the client and the therapist, definitely there is a fear factor and compassion factor. The compassion is different, the fear is different. The people operate from the fear, think about the losses, think about becoming comparative, becoming discriminative. The people who work from compassion, they think about the development, they think about how to go ahead and all those things. These are the two things we see everywhere in the world. So that's why Dr. Tony is going to have a wonderful session about the compassion and the fear, and how these two elements actually, affect and effect the overall child development and overall parenting mental health status. We are going to have the session later in the story. Thanks a lot, Murali. Wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murali, for your time. Despite of your health conditions, you are here with us. Thank you so much.
So it will